I'm starting this new project, which is redoing my entire earthen floor. Years ago, when I initially did this earthen floor, I used light clay straw as an insulator. So I did like 3-4 inches of light clay straw, and I tried to compress it as much as I could before I laid the floor. But even after putting the floor down, there was some compression that happened and the floor kind of sank. And ever since, I've never been satisfied with it. It always seems like it's sinking more and more. And so I'm gonna redo the floor, and I'm gonna put in perlite as insulation this time. And it's a big project. The reason I've waited so long is because it's a huge upheaval, because I've got my kitchen in here, I had my stove right there, I had my fridge over here. So I have to move all of this stuff out of the main living space on the first floor here and redo this floor. So it's not gonna be super fun to have to deal with that, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how everything looks underneath the floor. So that's what they're gonna find out, is what does this floor look like underneath. I've been putting up shelving in my mudroom so that I can move as much as possible out there and turn that into my main kitchen. I'm not gonna be able to have a water system while I'm doing this because that's my sink and it pumps out of my cistern, and I'm not gonna be able to have it hooked up while I'm doing this. Hope you'll come with me and see this whole process. It's gonna be interesting, and hopefully it'll work out, and then I won't have to worry about having to redo my floor all the time because it's cracking and sinking. So, finally got everything cleared out, and we're ready to start pounding away at the floor. It's actually surprisingly fun to do. I'm hoping it goes somewhat quickly. I'm gonna try to reuse some of the pieces that haven't completely broken, like this one. This one's a whole tile, and I'm gonna reuse it. I did get some replacements for them because I like to have these harder surfaces for the areas that are gonna get a lot of traffic, and also near the sink. So when water falls down, it doesn't fall on the floor. It falls on a surface that I can clean easier. Okay, no more screwing around. I think this is what I needed. Hopefully this will do a better job of pulling up this floor than the sledge slash log splitter there. Took a lot of time to make all this knob, and it's a good thing I don't have to remake it. So the whole point of this project was that my floor has been sinking over time, and my original thought was that this was due to the straw compressing over time. And I've made a startling discovery in actually digging out the floor, and last night when I made it down to the straw insulation layer, I found that there was really no straw. There was just compost. So this is likely the problem. And so what I'm finding is straw is a really poor choice as an insulator. My original reason for choosing it was that it's organic, it's locally available, it's natural. So those were all my incentives for choosing that over something like foam board or perlite, which is kind of natural. I knew there were some possible pitfalls in using straw as an insulation, and most of my impression was that it was because it compresses. It can compress, and then it won't be as good of an insulator. And that's what I thought was happening. But what I think was happening was either there were insects getting into it and moisture as well, and aiding in decomposition, because I have seen a lot of these what are called roly-polies or sow bugs or potato bugs in my house, and we have them all over in this area, and I would see them a lot in the early days of this floor, And I think what they do is they eat organic material, and so they were aiding in the decomposition, probably aiding in the, you know, bringing moisture into that layer, because the way that this floor was originally laid is I had a layer of gravel, a vapor barrier over that, I put down the straw insulation, and then the cob floor, earthen floor on top of that. And so really I'm not sure how the moisture could have gotten in there. It could have come from the top, but I did use a linseed oil layer on top, so it's uncertain as to how it could have gotten into the insulation there. Okay, so here is a good spot where you can really see what happened. This over here is obviously the broken down straw, and there's pretty much like maybe like 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. This over here is a bit thicker. I don't know what happened there, why it's not as broken down as the other areas, but this is closer to what it was originally. I'm thinking I would not recommend straw at this point because it's just not a reliable insulator. For one thing, there's too much danger of it compressing. It's because it's an organic matter, it can break down, it can degrade. Whereas something that's more of like a mineral, like the perlite, is much less likely to degrade in time, and it won't get eaten by insects. So definitely, if you're going to go with something that's a little more natural, I'd recommend perlite. I was trying to avoid using foam board because of the embodied energy in that product, and also because it's toxic. It's not a natural product at all. It's totally synthetic. So it's a great insulator, and it definitely will not compress, but we're going to try perlite and hopefully not make the same mistake of making a choice based on wanting to do it more sustainably and then finding that you have to redo it again in a few years. So once I have it all started, this part is just a matter of chipping away bigger chunks, so do it a lot faster at this point once you got it started with this pickaxe. So breaking off the big chunks off the larger floor. Yeah, so check out the next video where we're going to do the next steps in the plastering, continue with like laying the floor and using the old floor material mixture to redo the floor, put in perlite insulation. It's going to be good. Check out the Hardcore Sustainable Instagram page and follow that, and also follow the Facebook page. I do more frequent updates, and I'll just take pictures of things with my cell phone, and then I'll post them on Instagram. You could have seen this floor making process starting in like September, at least some of it, pictures of it on Instagram. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Share and give a thumbs up to the video. I'll see you next time. Poor Banjo is depressed here. She can't run around and hunt the bunnies. She's got to have the leash on. Tether on when she's here in the suburbs. On the leash all the time for 3 months. Aww.